Coming up on News Live at 6, Highway I-81 is funded $180 million and taking a huge step forward in the process to tearing down the highway. Stay tuned to find out what that money is to be used for.
Plus, Enter the Haggis performed at Middle Ages Brewing Company for the first time to celebrate St. Patrick's Day, what it meant for the brewery and the band's Syracuse fan base.
And cannabis chaos, why a leader in the New York department is out, and what Governor Hochul is looking to do next. News Live at 6 starts right now.
This is CitrusTV News Live at 6, your campus news leader.
Millions were just given to a long-awaited project here in Syracuse. Thanks for joining us at 6. I'm Maddie Stelk.
And I'm Ilana Epstein in for Bradley Hoppenstein tonight. Our Harrison Calder joins us in studio to tell us how this funding will go beyond the roads and into the neighborhoods. Harrison?
Ilana, good evening. Highway I-81, a piece of Syracuse that has caused so many problems in central New York for roughly 50 years, is ready to take another step forward. About 1.4 miles of elevated roads from the highway will be removed from the greater Syracuse area, but now more help is on the way, as $180 million of federal funding will go to the project. Kirsten Gillibrand, New York Senator, says this $180 million worth of funding will promote growth, create good-paying jobs, and most importantly, build stronger, more equitable, and more livable communities on the south side of Syracuse while ensuring the people who live there can stay there, end quote. The racial and health problems from car fumes in the city for about half a century has affected many, and that includes leaders within the city who have spent years trying to connect the different neighborhoods.
No more baby children will suffer from upper respiratory infections and other diseases which are caused by the vehicles who have traveled up and down 81.
The funding is coming from Senator Chuck Schumer's Neighborhood Access and Equity Program, and this decision can help increase funding within the IRA. Schumer has mentioned in the past about how he would transform I-81, and he's thrilled that he could keep that promise. Other organizations in the Syracuse area are also getting involved. Connect 315 President Connor Murphy wrote in a statement about how it's important to look at the representations of the funding, saying the project has now received support on every level of the federal government. Now, a lot of that support is because of the focus on ensuring that neighborhoods damaged by I-81, such as the new 15th Ward and parts on the north side, will all be given a new transportation infrastructure. This includes added greenery, sidewalks, new lighting, bike paths, and more. The city will also add new and improved parks to these areas. Basketball courts, playing fields, a splash pad, drinking fountains, and more for these communities to have a place to come and connect together. With this big green initiative, Syracuse, as well as the central New York community, is starting to create a positive change toward making an alternative route with the highway. Back to you guys at the desk.
Harrison, thank you for your coverage. A week from today, campus-wide room selection for next semester starts. Students planning to live on campus will select rooms based on their randomly assigned appointment that can be found on the My Slice housing page. Due to planned construction, Marion and Kimmel are no longer listed as options on the North housing list. But the Marshall and the Sheraton are new options that will be offered to sophomores. Students have until this Friday to submit roommate requests.
And staying on campus now, for SU seniors, we're less than 2 months away from graduation, which is insane. And there's campus events this week to help you prepare. If you're interested in getting a class ring, you can stop by the campus store to get fitted and order one from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. There's also a graduation fair on Thursday from 11 to 1 p.m. in the student atrium. And don't worry about cap and gown distribution, that will be happening in May.
In the first week back from spring break, SU's Muslim Student Association is hosting dinners called Iftar each night to break the daily Ramadan fast. Chancellor Severud will join the meal with students that receive an invite via Outlook. Other dinners are open for all students celebrating Ramadan. Daily Iftar sign-up sheets and more information on events throughout the month of Ramadan can be found on the Syracuse Muslim Student Association page.
And Syracuse University's National Association of Hispanic Journalists is hosting a speaker event tomorrow afternoon in Newhouse. Pulitzer Prize-winning journalist and author Maria Hinojosa will discuss her experience as a Hispanic journalist and as the author of her memoir titled Once I Was You. Students will be able to ask her questions following the discussion. And if you want to go, you have to RSVP, so more information can be found on SU Hispanic Journalist Instagram page, which is up on your screen.
Syracuse's first People's Ceasefire Forum will be held this Thursday at the Northside Learning Center. 19 local organizations are coming together to demand a permanent ceasefire resolution from the Syracuse Common Council. This forum will be the first in a series of CUSE Ceasefire Coalition events planned to take place across Syracuse in coming months. Childcare, iftar, and ASL interpretation will be provided. More information can be found on the Palestine Solidarity Collective Instagram page on your screen.
And St. Patty's Day traditions were in full swing throughout the 315, and there was a lot to celebrate this past weekend at Middle Ages Brewing Company. Our reporter Isabella Galan was able to attend the Enter the Haggis show and learn what it meant to the Syracuse community.
Middle Ages Brewing Company is the oldest brewery in Syracuse and has been open for about 29 years. St. Patrick's Day usually isn't their biggest day. However, with Enter the Haggis performing in their newly opened event space last night, that has changed.
But typically it's not a gigantic day for us, so this is turning it into a gigantic day for us, which is awesome. So it's just an exciting new venture that we've done, and again, there's always, we've still got the tap room and we make great beer. So.
Enter the Haggis has performed in Syracuse for many years.
However, since this is the first year that the Middle Ages Brewing Company has been open for this event space, this is the first time they will be performing here.
The Canadian Celtic rock band is experiencing another first. One of their members has not been able to finish out the tour due to family matters. However, even with these changes, the fans have been extremely supportive.
Obviously, the right call was for him to be home with his family, and thanks to all you guys for supporting us on this tour and supporting him in his decision.
Beyond their talent and meaningful lyrics, Syracuse fans continue to watch them every year because the band makes it a priority to connect with them on a more personal level.
It's just really great to see that they have such a big fan base, and I'm going to attribute it to their really accessibility, their personalities, their charisma. They're great music, but they have a way of feeling like everybody, or making sure that everybody feels welcome.
This is Isabella Galan reporting for CitrusTV News.
Bella, thanks so much. Looks like a great time, and it's pretty great that the event was inside because the weather in Syracuse is not great.
Yeah, luckily, Ilana and I weren't here to see it. We chatted. We were both in Florida where it was much, much warmer.
Very nice.
Ilana, I saw snow today.
That's crazy.
I was walking here in my dress, and it was snowing.
It was 40
Insane.
degrees. I was complaining with that, but I didn't see the snow. I'm glad that I missed that. That's
yes.
crazy.
And tomorrow is supposed to be the first day of spring, I think.
Can we we need the weather to go along with that.
Please, we do. But you can tell us more. Hopefully the snow will go away. But Tyler, what's the weather looking like right now?
Guys, I have some news. It's
no.
not. Sadly, it's snowed a little bit today. We had some light flurries coming down. It's the beginning of what's going to be a very, very long road. If you look at our temperatures throughout the area, you're going to see that we were kind of all just existing in this 38 to 40 degree weather. It's going to be kind of cold throughout the rest of the week, and tonight it's going to get a bit colder. 22 degrees outside, 28, excuse me, and the snow is just going to keep on continuing. We're going to have maybe about a little bit less, than an inch tomorrow morning, but other than that, it's going to be just snow all throughout the week. Guys?
Well, Tyler, thanks. Well, something to look forward to when it starts to warm up here is the years-long project for the aquarium in the Inner Harbor is making new strides. Designs are done with the new renderings you can see up on your screen. Foundation work is slated for later this spring as things start to warm up, as I said, in the Salt City. Not everyone is a fan of this project, though. It's created a lot of controversy for the large amounts of taxpayer money required to build it. County Executive Ryan McMahon has said the project will see some downscaling to stick to the $85 million budget.
A preschool for deaf and hard of hearing children is opening in Syracuse. The nonprofit Whole has been operating across the country for over 20 years and will now take up to 15 Central New York children between the ages of 3 and 5 in its new preschool. Kids will learn both American Sign Language and English, according to the school officials. The new preschool is set to open on James Street and aims to help deaf children become more conversationally independent. A high-level official at the Office of Cannabis Management is on administrative leave following an investigation on selective enforcement allegations. Chief Equity Officer Damian Fagon did not respond to immediate comment over the leave. This comes as New York Cannabis Insider investigative Jenny Argy over the first and only recall in the state. Argy sued the office last week to lift a stop work order placed earlier this month. Following this incident, Governor Kathy Hochul is ordering a new assessment of cannabis management. She is hoping to begin implementing a strategic plan that is focusing on long-term success of legal marijuana and CNY. The commissioner for the Office of General Services is leading and sponsoring the effort with support from state government leaders.
And Hochul says she has full confidence that the commissioner will find areas of the market that need improvement, as well as establish standards across pot agencies. New cannabis businesses' processing times and opening application timeframes will be assessed, and the governor's office says the assessment will take at least a minimum of 30 days. And funding has moved forward to change how first responders help people in a mental health crisis. The Senate and Assembly agreed on a budget of $2 million for a pilot program to eventually pass Daniel's Law. The law is named after Daniel Prude, who died after being restrained by Rochester police officers when he was having a mental health crisis. Senate Assembly member Harry Bronson says if the pilot program gets final approval, it will likely work with existing programs. And coming up on News Live at 6, 2 cases being heard this week at the nation's highest court, how they could affect your First Amendment rights.
And how rumors on the death of a Boeing whistleblower are taking flight. How the company is responding on the other side of the break. You're watching Citrus TV, your campus news leader.
Every time I hear the alarm bell go off in school, I think it's an air raid.
A lot of houses in our neighborhood have been destroyed. I like to close my ears and sing songs whenever the bombs come close.
I'm worried our new neighbors won't like us.
But I know it's all gonna be worth it. I just want my family to be safe. But these are not my words.
These are not my words.
These are not my words.
Here's your check. Oh, you got it. You know, since I got rid of my car, I really enjoy walking.
Okay. God, no.
Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates.
Oh, you're home early.
You live with your mom?
That'll set your game back a few years. Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Welcome to my house. Lately, not my happy place. Everybody's pretty tired of each other. The parents were not themselves. My little brothers were morphing into small creatures. The walls were closing in. Clearly, a case of too much family, too close, 24/7. And there's a lot of that going around right now. If this sounds like your house, try going someplace new. YourLifeYourVoice.org. You'll find lots of ideas to help you handle the family stresses of being confined to close quarters. YourLifeYourVoice.org. It might not get you out of the house, but it could help you find a little more breathing room.
If you see news happening on campus, in Syracuse, or across the nation, call the Citrus TV newsroom, 315-443-1177, or tweet at Citrus TV News, your campus news leader.
Welcome back to News Live at 6 and to Congress now, where a bill that could ban the social platform TikTok has raced through the House. The legislation would force TikTok's Chinese parent company ByteDance to sell its stakes within 6 months or face a nationwide ban of the app.
The Senate, however, is choosing to take their time with the bill. Majority Leader Chuck Schumer choosing to put that bill that passed through the House with a 352-65 vote. Critics of the bill are citing free speech concerns, specifically regarding videos on the war in Gaza.
As the highest-ranking Jewish elected official in our government, and as a staunch defender of Israel, I rise today to say unequivocally, this is a grave mistake for Israel, for Palestinians, for the region, and for the world.
And that was Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer. And the Majority Leader is also questioning Prime Minister Netanyahu's ability to lead through the ongoing Israel-Hamas war. Schumer says an election of a new prime minister and other Israeli officials would be beneficial.
Many international leaders and organizations also calling out the IDF plan to operate in Rafah, the last remaining Palestinian territory unoccupied by Israel. A new poll from the Israeli Foreign Ministry showing that Jewish citizens agree. Over 2/3 of Jewish Israelis saying that they want a new election in hopes of a more efficient attempt to free hostages. And today, the conversation continues over the phone with Biden and Netanyahu. Biden expressed his concerns over Israel's plans for the Rafah operation and request to discuss an alternative approach.
And flying back to the States, the Boeing whistleblower who was planning to testify against the company was found dead in his pickup truck in South Carolina last week. Police are suspecting that it was a suicide. John Barnett worked for Boeing for more than 30 years and retired back in 2017.
A friend of Barnett, Jennifer, said over a phone interview that, quote, "I know that it is not suicide. He said, if anything happens to me, it's not suicide," end quote. Boeing has said that they are mourning the death of Barnett and so far have made no further statement on the matter.
And today, the U.S. Supreme Court grapples two cases concerning the First Amendment right to free speech. One case, a battle between New York regulators and the NRA, and the other, Democratic officials may be using social media to censor conservative viewpoints.
The NRA case discusses how government officials can voice opinions about the businesses they regulate. The NRA says that the former superintendent of the New York State Department of Financial Services threatened lobbying firms while targeting an illegal insurance product. The ruling will determine if government officials can pressure companies in doing business with organizations.
The social media case could set standards for free speech in the digital age. A Missouri lawyer is saying Democratic officials are unconstitutionally suppressing conservative views. Free speech advocates say the court could draw a line between government agenda and digital censorship.
Both cases will be decided by the end of the year.
And coming up, I'll have your 5-day forecast. Don't touch that dial, folks. Citrus TV will be back in just a minute.
Life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome. Prediabetes does. 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes, but with early diagnosis, prediabetes can be reversed. And you can change the outcome. Take the 1-minute prediabetes risk test today. Go to doihaveprediabetes.org.
From the Citrus TV Weather Center, this is SU's most accurate weather forecast.
Welcome back to Citrus TV, folks. If you take a look at our 5-day weather forecast, you're going to find that there's something in common with a lot of these days. It's all snow, except for Thursday. Thursday is going to be a little bit sunny with some light breeze going through, but a lot of it is going to be snow. 38 tomorrow is going to be the high with a 31 as the low, and that's going to kind of continue all throughout the week. 31 is going to be the high on Thursday, though, so it's going to be still quite cold even if there's no snow outside. But that snow is just going to continue raining on. If you take a look at our Apologies, my clicker doesn't seem to be working today, but if you take a look further outside, you're going to see that I have some tips to stay warm for you guys, because I'm from Florida, and, well, we're not exactly managing to deal with this cold very well. It's going to be very, very snowy. My tips to you are going to be to use layers. Don't be wearing a t-shirt underneath the coat. That's just not going to be good. Wear some boots, and don't skimp on those hats and gloves, guys.
Tyler, thank you. And the rollout is underway for the O pill. It's the first over-the-counter birth control pill approved in the U.S. Online sales began this morning on opill.com and Amazon.
You can get a 3-pack of pills for $50 and 6-pack for $90. Orders are sent in plain and unbranded boxes. Some major retail pharmacies like CVS and Walgreens say they'll offer O pill once they get their shipments. Joann Fabrics is filing for bankruptcy. The craft retailer has over 800 stores nationwide. It's best known for selling craft and sewing supplies and home decor.
Joann can keep its stores open while it repays its debts, so no stores or online shopping should be affected by this filing. And you know who should also potentially file for bankruptcy? That's Syracuse men's basketball. Jesse, what do you got for us in sports?
Maddie, you got that exactly right. It's another messy end of the regular season, of the season as a whole for Syracuse men's basketball, but the women's team has very high hopes. Stay tuned for sports after this break.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And now, your CitrusTV Sports Report.
Bye-bye, Syracuse men's basketball, and hello again here on Citrus TV. I'm Jesse Cook. The Orange pulled themselves out of consideration for the National Invitational Tournament. That comes after losing in the ACC tourney to NC State on Wednesday. They also missed out on March Madness. That means the season is over. SU Athletics released an official statement explaining that, quote, "We respect the NIT, but our only postseason goal was to play in the NCAA tournament. Therefore, we communicated to the ACC we would not participate in the NIT," end quote. That contrasts with what head coach Adrian Autry responded when asked about the NIT after Wednesday's season-ending loss.
Anytime you get a chance to make a postseason, I think you have to take it. Did we play well? No, we didn't play well, but I thought the effort and the battle was there all season long. But we haven't crossed that bridge yet.
Well, consider that bridge crossed. We know the ending to the final game. SU lost to the eventual ACC champions in NC State, but let's look at how we reached that ending. So we start off in the second half because Syracuse was only down by 3 at that point, but DJ Burns comes through to make it a 4-point game early on there. NC State kept building up. Jaden Taylor, the 3, a 12-point lead. That's rough. Michael O'Connell, you'd hear his name a couple days later for his season-saving three-pointer at the buzzer. Well, this was just a warm-up and a 17-point lead. Syracuse goes down. Judah Mintz evidently unhappy about it. And with the transfer portal open, it's just a waiting game to see what next year's roster will look like for the Cuse. One of those departures came right before we hit the air today. Per On3 Sports forward Justin Taylor is, quote, in the process of submitting his name into the transfer portal, end quote. The sophomore started every game this past season. Syracuse women's basketball is destined for a national tournament. The Orange find themselves ranked 6th in the Portland 3 division. On your big bracket, you can find SU in the bottom right portion, but we've got their full segment right there. The Orange have to wait for Auburn and Arizona to play in the first 4 on Thursday night to find out their first-round opponent. Take a look at the team's reaction when they found out they were going dancing. High spirits there, same feelings in the Dome. The Scouts were out and about in Syracuse today for Football Pro Day. Quarterback Garrett Schrader is navigating the tricky process of returning from shoulder surgery while trying to garner some NFL attention.
It's tough because a lot of the stuff that I like to do is, I measure well, test well, so I wasn't able to show that today. But you know, it's been awesome just getting back.
We'll find out the results for all the SU seniors with the NFL draft and free agency starting on April 25th. Syracuse tennis split a weekend series with a win over NC State and a loss to Wake Forest. Miyuka Kimoto made headlines taking down 2 top 50 opponents. On Friday, she beat the 3rd-ranked player in the country in Amelia Rajecki from NC State. That came in straight sets, both ending in tiebreakers. The junior beat the 28th-ranked Casey Wooten of Wake Forest on Sunday, also in straight sets. 2 upstate New York programs are headed to the Women's Frozen Four. Number 3 Colgate and number 4 Clarkson both punched their tickets to the national semifinals in New Hampshire on Saturday. Clarkson sees the defending national runner-ups and top-seeded Ohio State on Friday at 4. Colgate has the defending champs, number 2 Wisconsin, at 7:30 later that day. The Badgers sent the Raiders home from the big dance just last year. Moving to the pro game, the Rangers rode a big middle frame to victory in the Battle of New York last night over the Islanders. We start in the second period because that's when the Rangers got their action there. Mika Zibanejad ties the game. Rangers take their first lead right here. They let the Isles tie it up, but then it was a game winner in the second period. This ended it. The Rangers are rolling with 5 wins in their last 6 games with a 5-2 win over the Islanders. They're 1 point out of the top seed in the Eastern Conference, trailing the Bruins, who they see next on Thursday.
Jesse, thanks so much. And it looks like the ice rink isn't the only place it's going to be cold.
That's right, Ilana. Tyler Oldano will be back with your wake-up weather. Stay with us.
Well, Thomas, you've got prediabetes. But with more exercise and a change in diet, it can be reversed.
I've tried exercising. It just makes me hungry for bacon.
I love bacon, too. And who really likes to exercise?
Not me.
Me neither.
Nobody. So we're good?
What? Oh, you still have prediabetes. Big time.
Welcome back to Citrus TV. I'm Tyler Oldano. Taking a look at our wake-up weather today. Tomorrow, it's going to be about 29 degrees in the morning when you wake up at about 9 a.m. That snow is going to start, and it's going to keep on going throughout the rest of the day.
Still coping with that snow that's coming our way. But that's all Citrus TV News Live at 6 has for Monday this evening.
Don't forget, you can follow us on X and Instagram at Citrus TV News. Now for the entire Citrus TV News team, I'm Ilana Epstein.
And I'm Maddie Stelk. Have a great night, Syracuse.